just alternate.
We're going to go ahead and call this meeting of the Charter Revision Commission to order. We're still missing one person, and hopefully Ms. Sims will appear during the course of the meeting. Let the record show that all the commission members are here with the exception of Ms. Sims. The first item on the agenda is the public comment period. I want to, of course, if you've signed the list and wish to speak, you are certainly welcome to speak. I want to be clear, though, what our role is today for the commission is not to pass or opine on the subject matter of the motion or of the proposed amendment. But what our role is just to make sure it complies with Section 19 of the Charter as it was amended in 2022. So we're not going to be making any decisions about whether this is a good charter amendment or a bad charter amendment. That will be something that the voters will have to determine if it gets sufficient number of signatures and ends up on the ballot. So we're just here to make sure that it complies with the requirements of the Metro Charter. So with that, and thank you, Mr. Secretary, Austin, for serving in that role. I think you have a list of people, and we'll just go through the list in the order that they signed up.
Sure. Okay, we have 4 people signed up. First, we have Mr. Steve Ryder.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Commission. I'll be brief. I just want to say that I agree with the legal analysis of Nikki Ecke from Metro Legal that what was submitted was not proper in proper form. It should have been in a petition and not a letter. So I could say some other things at this point in time, but I agree with that legal analysis, and I'll leave it at that. I might have to leave the meeting a little bit early, but it's good to see everybody again. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your brevity.
Next, we have Mr. Shane Smiley.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Shane Smiley. I'll be brief as well. I'm going to echo what Mr. Ryder says with this has failed in form, in function. There's more questions than there are answers to it as to what this would actually do, not only to the Speedway, but to all the charter proposed, or all the charter protected events as a whole. For that reason, I am opposed, and I thank you for your time.
Good, thank you, Mr. Smiley.
Next, we have Mr. Daniel Barron.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. In light of the memorandum, I agree it is defective in form. I oppose the petition, but I will defer my comments until potential second meeting.
Last, we have Mr. Norman Parkman.
Lifelong resident of Nashville, I appreciate your service to the community. This attempted amendment is being put forth for one business to put another one out of business. If that happens, you have tainted the charter. This is simply what it is, and anybody that looks into it can understand that this is an effort by one entity to put another one out of business. And that's my comment, and happy to talk with you at any time about that.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. I also see the proponent of the amendment, Mr. Kenny Bird, is here. If you would like to make any comments,
Sure.
give you that opportunity.
I want to thank you for your consideration. Moving forward and seeing that legal counsel has made some sort of recommendation here, I think we're all in some new uncharted territory here, all of us here today, and so we're happy to hear any feedback from you all that we need to make sure we cure any issues. I think it does. I think substantively, we have met what is required, and so if there's any way to sort of, proceed as quickly as we can, that would be helpful, and but we're also happy to listen to whatever we need to do, since it is the first time it's been done, right? So we probably do want to make sure that we set good precedents here, and happy to do that. We tried to comply with every requirement as far as what we gave you. But as far as, being on the same literal page, if that needs to happen, we can do that.
You get to be the guinea pig.
Yeah, I'll be the guinea pig. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Heidi sends her best as well. She had a work commitment today that could not make it.
Pull your chair out.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
It seems we're glad to see you, and I have not officially welcomed you to the commission. I was out at the last, I think, the meeting that you attended earlier. I just had a knee replacement literally 4 days before, and I appreciate Hal Harden chairing that.
I
meeting,
understand. I've had a lot of work done, so I'm glad that I was able to make it.
Good, well, thank you for being here. Okay, we'll close the public comment section and move on to the approval of the minutes of that last meeting, which was April 11th of 2022. They've been circulated. I hope everyone's had an opportunity to review those minutes, and if they have, we would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes. I would note that the amendments that we considered at that meeting is actually why we're here today. So
It's amazing.
so it's kind of ironic that we're approving the minutes when we considered all the amendments back in 2022 that we're now having to deal with today. So anyway, I didn't see any problems with them, so I move approval.
Good. Can we get a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, I heard Ms. Jones first. So if there's no discussion on the minutes, then all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Then the minutes will be approved unanimously. Next, Ms. Ecke, if you would explain the appeal rights that, or Mr. Austin, if you would do that.
Parties wishing to appeal a decision of this commission are encouraged to engage independent legal counsel to determine the appeal rights and deadlines. Generally, appeals of metropolitan boards and commissions are initiated by filing a writ of certiorari with the Davidson County Chancery Court. A decision by this commission to certify or not certify a petition may be appealed to the Davidson County Chancery Court by filing a petition for a writ of certiorari within 30 days after the decision of this commission.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda, and the reason why we're here is the deliberation of the proposed charter amendment that's been filed by Mr. Byrd and Ms. Maskell. As I said at the outset, our purpose is to determine whether it meets or runs afoul of any of the 6 issues that are set forth in the charter amendment that, as Mr. Murphy just mentioned, was what we were considering back in 2022 that ultimately passed. At this time, I'm going to ask Metro Legal Counsel if you have prepared an analysis of this, and if you would just summarize your analysis for those who are here, and then I think we will then have to determine where we go next.
Okay, just a brief summary. Section 19.03B of the Charter mandates that a petition filed with the Metro Clerk shall contain the following information: the title of the proposed amendment, an explanatory summary of the proposed amendment not to exceed 200 words, the text of the proposed amendment, and a statement of the financial impact of the proposed amendment. The document that was filed on January 31 is in the form of a letter rather than a petition that will be circulated for signatures. So that document does not comply with charter requirements. The draft petition that was submitted on February 16th as an addendum to the January 31 document does not contain the 4 items outlined in section 19.03B. That draft petition lacks the statement of the financial impact of the proposed amendment. Also, the draft petition does not provide the title and summary of the proposed amendment in a manner that clearly identifies each item as required by section 19.03B of the Charter. So to comply with Charter requirements, a revised petition in the proper form containing and clearly identifying the 4 items outlined in section 19.03B must be filed with the Metro Clerk. We have, Metro Legal have provided for the Commission's review a sample petition form which reflects a format that could be used for petition-initiated charter amendments. I do want to note one thing. item number 2, if you look at that sample petition, number 2, where it says explanatory summary of the proposed amendment, a suggestion has been made to make it clear that it is not to exceed 200 words. So we'll just say, it will say now explanatory summary of the proposed amendment not to exceed 200 words. So it's clear on its face to potential petitioners. So the commission today will need to make the determination whether what was filed on the 16th meets the requirements of the charter with regards to, as outlined in section 19.03B and C. And so that's the first step, for you to review what was filed and make your determination. And then depending on your decision, then we move to the next levels, next steps.
Thank you, Ms. Ecke. At this time, I'd open it up to the members of the commission. We've heard and seen the opinion of the Metro Legal Counsel. This is a little bit of uncharted territory. That's the first time this is done, and we do want to make sure that we do it right. Even if everything is there, it has to be in the appropriate form, and that seems to be a deficiency in that. So what is the will of the commission?
Can I ask a question?
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Ms. Ecke, in 1903C, there are 7 items that we're supposed to consider in determining whether we should or we can approve the petition. And several of them are somewhat legal in nature. And I would think that before we could really make a determination on the ultimate question, I would like, at least, I would assume some of the other members would too, the legal department to weigh in on their analysis of the proposed amendment in light of these items that are legal in nature.
Sure,
And I'm not saying you have to do that right now.
Yeah,
I'm just saying before we actually get to the ultimate issue,
Yeah.
I think we need to do that so that we
Sure.
can feel comfortable that when we're considering this, that we have at least heard Metro Legal's view on whether or not we feel like this proposal somehow violates any of those other criteria that are in the charter that we have to look at.
Sure. We reviewed the proposed amendment, the text, and our opinion is that it does not violate any of the criteria other than the criteria set forth in 19.03B.
So the form criteria,
Correct.
not the substance criteria.
Not the substance.
Criteria are okay.
Yes,
It's
it
just
doesn't-
The form criteria is the problem.
Correct. It doesn't
Great.
implicate any of those other issues.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. So, Ms. Ecke, if the form is corrected, then it would be your opinion the petition could move forward, that your advice to the commission would be, yes, that it meets those 7, or it doesn't violate those 7 requirements, so we won't need to revisit that if the language doesn't change and it just is put into the correct format. Is that
Correct.
accurate?
If something is filed that is put in proper form and with the clerk and reviewed, yes, it will meet the
This
criteria.
proposed change.
Exactly, the change
Is not is not gonna violate any of those 7 criteria. It's just gonna
Correct.
be in the right form.
Correct.
One other question.
Sure.
I noticed in your memo, you suggested that we consider adopting some procedures that would be used, really, I guess, following the approval of a petition. And again, this wasn't really focused as much on this petition as really any petition we receive. And what I would suggest, and I guess see what the other board members think about it, but my recommendation on that would be to have Metro Legal bring us the proposed procedures and consistent with your memo.
Sure.
And then we can adopt those, because those are really after the
It's been
approval
approved.
Yes.
process. It's really, how do we implement, if we approve of a petition, not saying we're gonna approve this one, and just saying whichever one we approve going forward, that we have the right procedures. And so my request would be before our next meeting, which I suspect is gonna happen relatively soon, that we would need to have, or would like to have, a written set of procedures that we could review and approve, and that way we could go forward with those.
Sure, we'll do.
That would be a
I'm-
great way.
If anybody objects to that, I'm
No.
not trying to dictate what we need to do, but it's just, it would sure be easier for you to do it than me.
So, good, I think that's a wonderful suggestion, and that would, of course, follow once we have approved.
Right, exactly. Once we've approved
The
what,
form
those
of
are the
the
steps,
petition.
the next steps, right?
Okay, so I guess we need to take formal action to either accept or reject the petition,
Yeah, certify or not certify.
certify or not certify the petition.
Can I ask a question? I guess,
Yeah,
I keep asking questions, I'm sorry.
This is good.
Mine's working.
The more discussion we have on this, on the front end, hopefully it will help short-circuit things on the back
So,
end.
Ms. Ecke, are our only options to either approve or disapprove? Is there another option that was basically say, we're gonna defer our vote and let them try to correct their problems before we meet again? And the reason I ask that question is, it's not just a hypothetical or just kind of, I believe if we find that it's defective and disapprove it, they've got 15 days to cure it.
Correct.
If we defer it and don't take action, does the 15-day clock start running?
Well, you have 30 days from that initial filing to actually make a decision of certification or no certification.
I understand, I just don't know
Yeah.
how quickly we're going to hit that.
So the time it's gonna come into an end.
Okay,
So
so-
you do have to,
Okay.
so long as that,
So we've got to make it, we've got to take action.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. You answered my question. I hear you. We've got to act on this one. And then, and that start the clock running on them getting something back to us.
15 days.
And then we've got 15 more days.
To
act
then
on it.
meet.
Okay, thank you. You've cleared up my confusion, or partial confusion. Or partially cleared up my total confusion. All of the above. All of the above, yeah.
Glad you're asking the question.
Thank you,
Yeah, I think it's good. And again, this is all kind of new to all of us. So would it be your advice that we need to either approve or disapprove?
Yes, certify or not
certify.
certify. And then after that, recommendation is to maybe approve this format so the Metro Clerk can provide that and have that on its website so that people can see the format a form that you have approved that can be used. And they can type it up, themselves.
So I'd make a motion that we approve the form that was provided by Metro Legal with the additional language Ms. Ecke suggested in number 2 to add not to exceed 200 words at the end of the current language. And I assume Metro Legal could provide that revised petition to the clerk
Yes.
if we approve that. So that's my motion, is that we approve the petition with that revision.
Right, we've got a motion to approve the form of the petition as, with the additional language. Do we have a second to that? Okay, I heard, I think I heard Hal Hart first because he was on.
He's on, he's in
talking
good
in this
ear.
ear.
It's on your good ear.
Good ear.
I got to hear the chairman.
Okay, so we've got a motion and second. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, then all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Then the motion passes unanimously. So that will then take us to the determination as to whether to certify or not certify what has been previously filed with the clerk's office. So we need a motion on that to go forward.
I make a motion that we disapprove the certify.
To not certify.
To not certify, I knew that certify was
Our
coming.
our
To not
motion is to
certify.
not certify.
Correct.
I second.
Okay, seconded by Ms. Sims. Is there any discussion on that motion?
Yeah, the only thing I would say about that motion is all of this is procedure. As Dewey mentioned earlier, I think this whole process is procedural, not substantive. I think we actually, do we make recommendations on petitions after they get the requisite signatures?
Traditionally, we have not done that.
I didn't think
Now,
we
if
did.
someone
Ask
asks us to
probably
do it, we
would.
can. We are mandated under the Metro Code to make a recommendation on any petition that's generated by the Metro Council.
Right.
That is what we're charged to do. But to my knowledge, that goes back a little bit of time on this, there's never been a request that the commission opine on a citizen-generated petition. So,
Well, and if there were, I don't think it would be until after they had gotten enough signatures to actually have it pending on the ballot. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If I may say something?
Yes.
The role of the commission is different with regards to charter-initiated amendments. It's more of an advisory role. But your role here is just very different, which is not necessarily to opine on whether it's a good idea or bad idea or any of that, but does it meet the criteria?
I mean, I remember from reading the minutes from our last meeting that when we actually approved this amendment, part of the reason, or the primary reason that it was adopted was to kind of sort out the 7 issues that are in subsection C prior to it being signatures gained and put on the ballot. And then you had litigation over the validity of the charter amendment. And the whole idea was we would find that out before you collected signatures as opposed to afterwards. So it's really a process to make sure that if a petition gets approved and then the people go get signatures and we put it on the ballot, that the chances of there being post-ballot challenges will be much reduced.
exactly.
So I do remember that from 2 years ago, which is pretty amazing.
So.
I was reading minutes.
Yeah. Okay, then we have the motion on the floor by Ms. McLaughlin, seconded by Ms. Sims to not certify on the basis of the form of the petition, of what's been submitted. Is there any more discussion on that?
The defects that are in the form of the petition that was, so your decision is based on what was submitted is defective?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we maybe, with your permission, what we could put in the motion is based on the advice of legal counsel as stated by Ms. Eckey, the petition is not certified because it fails to meet certain criteria under 1903B. So then if there's no discussion on that, all those in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Then that motion will be approved unanimously. So I see Mr. Byrd is here. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but if you could give us perhaps an indication of assuming you're going to go forward.
So it's good. So I guess this is the first time this form has ever been approved, was a few minutes ago. So
Yes.
It was only created, I think,
Day before yesterday.
I
And a
guess,
correction will be provided, so
Yeah.
after we leave here, we're gonna provide the particular one that was approved by this commission to the
so
clerk.
as I understand it, as soon as we can get that, we would turn that around. I can turn that around quickly and literally put the same language. It sounds like the commission has approved that we do not run afoul of these 7 requirements substantively, only form. So that's all I would need to do to cure anything, because I think it does talk about, we have a discussion of what to do to cure. So as long as I cure it in this way, it sounds like it will be,
we'll have to come back and do it again.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
we'll have to come back and do it.
but I could do that very quickly. It's just a matter of getting the form from clerk, and then I'm happy to work any schedule that you want to come back.
Since we're all here, what I'd like to do is, if everyone has their calendars, let's say that if the petition is submitted within
A week?
say, 7 days, and then maybe we set our meeting sometime within at least 7 days after that. That way, if there's any delays in you doing what you intend to do, we're not, it's all filed, because it has to go to the clerk's office and then be circulated back to us. So that would put us, look at my,
I know that I will be out of town on March 7th at a court hearing, but I could be here March 8th or 11th or 4th.
that would put us, but let's say if you filed it on or before March 1st, then we could meet potentially the next week or the week after that. That would give us, that would put us within the 15-day, it's calendar days.
Yes,
Right.
15 calendar.
Within the 15 days, what is everyone's schedule looking like for the week of
The 4th would be
Monday?
a Monday, good.
The week of this election.
Monday afternoon, the 4th would work for me. The 5th and 6th are not good. What availability does anyone have on the,
I'm open. I mean, I can make arrangements for any of those days.
I can make adjustments.
I can say on the 4th, these rooms won't be available. There's council.
That's council meeting night, yeah, I was thinking we might want to stay away from that. What about the 11th?
11th is wide open for me after 10 o'clock, so
11th works for me.
Works for me.
That afternoon.
That afternoon, the 11th, like 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock is a good time, so
Okay.
let's go ahead and set the meeting for 2 o'clock on Monday, the 11th. And that will ensure that, Mr. Byrd, that should give you and your folks plenty of, a little even additional time. But,
Monday said 2 p.m., but we don't know the location. So.
Probably,
Probably be this room again.
Oh, it will be because it won't be me. Okay.
we will schedule the meeting, and then in the meantime, Ms. Ecke, you're going to prepare sort of the procedure.
Sure,
And come back to us, and we can approve those.
sure, will do.
In anticipation that the petition
well, and
is.
even if they don't get, I mean,
Yeah.
we can go ahead and approve them because they'll be for any position we ever see.
Correct.
We'll go ahead and just get that off the table.
Sure. Okay, then, I think that's, is there anything else that we need to discuss? If not, then we would entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed can stay. Thank you. Thank everyone for being here, and we will stand adjourned.